Don't look now, but you're about to get licked by the magic of the Hug-a-Bunch. Ew. Welcome to Haul Yeah Comics. My name is Nate, and I have issues. And today's issues are the rest of the books that I purchased at HeroesCon this year. This is my third HeroesCon video, and I'll link the other two below if you want to see my top 5 pickups or the video that focuses on original art and signatures that I saw at the show. But today's is kind of the rest of the books that I bought. So there's a lot. There are 73 books that I picked up for varying prices, most of them pretty cheap. On average, I think I paid $1 per book, because I did have, in that top 5 video, my more expensive books. So because I had spent some more money on those, I went pretty cheap on the rest of it, but I still got some fun and cool stuff. So in order to get through it quickly, I've got some we're just gonna kind of go through as montages and things, but there's definitely some that I wanna stop and highlight. The last book I'm going to show today is the one that I think is the best out of these 73, or I don't know if best is the right word. I'm definitely the only person that would qualify that book as best. But anyway, stick around to the end for a book that I really like. And so I have these purchases kind of chunked up. And this first chunk here is going to be books that they're mostly first issues, oddly enough, but they're books that I also picked up because I thought they would be good in the competition that the FOMO Squad was having with our weird books. We were having a weird book challenge where we were trying to find the weirdest book of the day. And I don't know how many winners I've got in this set, but I mean, there's definitely some good books. There's a few misfires as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book is The Hug-a-Bunch, and The Hug-a-Bunch is from Star Comics, and I don't know what it is. Star Comics is really known for, it's a Marvel imprint where they would do the cartoon books. So they did Heathcliff under this. The Droids cartoon had a comic under this. It didn't last very long as far as I remember, and I have never heard of The Hug-a-Bunch in my life. I don't know why there is a Alfalfa looking character and these Mon Chi-Chi looking characters, or why they're fighting this pirate. But it's a little disturbing what Alfalfa is saying here. Don't look now, but you're about to get licked by the magic of the Hug-a-Bunch. Ew. So yeah, the most I've been able to find out about this is it was based on a cartoon made-for-TV movie or something. I don't know. My copy is a newsstand, and I can't find any information about that. It's not a Mark Jewelers, I checked. So that's my first number 1 here, Hug-a-Bunch. Up next is Very Vicky number 1. Now, this was another one that I'm pretty sure I got for 50 cents. It seemed odd to me. I don't know what to make of this. We have this Kentucky Derby attendee looking woman smoking a cigarette. She's got, roses and this sash. And the sash says, Miss Blended Whiskey. Now, I want to party with somebody who wears a sash like that. So I don't know what I expected from this book. The art on the inside's not very good. It's a very independent 80s book. So I thought this one might be stranger than it was. It may just be a drama or something, but this is another one of the weird pickups that I made that was a number 1 that I tried to enter in the FOMO Squad contest. Now, Bizarre Fantasy number 1, I thought might have a connection to that movie Cowboys vs. Aliens, because down here it said Cowboys and Aliens. But this is really like more of a parody or a homage to the Marvel monsters, like Creatures on the Loose and things. So, this guy here, it's very Marvel with Enter Morgu. And of course, his name Morgu has 2 U's at the end, because that's what they would always do. They'd always like double letters within their monster names in those Marvel monster comic books. And so it's actually, it's kind of cool. I've never heard of this publisher before, Flashback Comics. But yeah, I don't know much about it other than I leafed through it, and it wasn't as weird as I thought, and it had 0 connection to that movie, but I'm still pretty glad I got it. Another black and white 80s independent is Theon number 1. I've never heard of this, and Pyramid Comics, the publisher, I'm not sure if I've heard of them either. Now, this one did worry me a little bit when I picked it up, because just based on the cover, I was kind of afraid it may be a little risque. And this one actually wasn't. This one is, a pretty, basic 80s sci-fi. I do like this little creature back here that's kind of, peeking around the spaceship. So for what it is, like for that 1980s independent art, I actually really like this one. This says it's a 3-issue limited series. This is issue number 1. The vendor didn't have any of the others, but if I find them, I might check it out. Oh, Angels of Destruction. Your cover wrote a check that your interiors could not match. So this is a number 1 from Malibu, where we have, you know, I don't know, medieval, future armored, semi-armored, barely armored warrior women. And the cover is painted and it's actually really cool. It's from Malibu, and Malibu makes such great books as The Ferret and The Protectors. And on the inside, you can definitely see where this is connected to that. So the interior art is not painted. It's not, you know, any more dynamic than any other 90s Malibu book, but the cover is pretty sweet. So I was hoping for something a little odd. Again, I was a little afraid it might be risque, but because it was Malibu, I figured I was pretty safe. So there's another pickup. This one cracks me up. This is Labor Force number 1. We came across an entire long box of books from Blackthorn Publishing, and I have a couple of their books that are 3D comics, and that's how I had heard of them before, but there were series I had never heard of, and this is one of them. So this is Labor Force number 1, and the thing that I find funny about this is that the theme or the idea is that these are superheroes who are willing to work for money. So the leader there is saying, hurry it up, time is money. And their tagline at the bottom is, tomorrow's superheroes, don't thank them, pay them. So that's Labor Force number 1. Oh boy, is this next one a dud. We've got Mr. Cream Puff number 1, also from Blackthorn Publishing. Not only is this a dud, but this was a $2 comic. And I bought 4 copies because I bought one for every person in the FOMO squad because it was so stupid. I thought this would be a great one for us to book club. And when we bought it, Hagen and I, we giggled about it. We found it. We went back to the hotel room and we had both read it. We were both very disappointed. It's just not great. But I'm not disappointed in having it. Like and I'm also definitely not disappointed in passing this along to other people. So Mr. Cream Puff number 1, Blackthorn Publishing. Don't recommend it. $2, maybe 50 cents. LA Raptor number 1 is awesome. It is gory, it is violent, it is completely over the top. It is very independent. The interior art is all black and white, but it is just as gory as this is. So this is number 1, and as far as I could find on CLZ and Cover Price, there's only 2 issues of this, and I'd never heard of it before. But yeah, the premise is this raptor gets out and just wreaks havoc across the city as he's eating people. So if you ever see this one and you're a fan of gore and, you know, horror, it was pretty okay. Definitely recommend. Next up is the official Marvel No Prize book. So this was put out, if you don't know, the No Prize was where readers would write letters to the comic books where they would find a mistake and they'd point it out, you know. And there are some really silly ones, like that a character is wearing gloves in one panel and not in another, you know, minor mistakes like that, or that a character was trapped somewhere and then we see them in a different place when they shouldn't be there because they were trapped. So, you know, just little continuity mistakes and things. And if you pointed those out and your letter got published, Marvel might send you a No Prize, which was just an empty envelope. I think some of them may have even had Stan Lee's signature on them, but they were pretty coveted and still are. Like they're very collectible if you can find one. But this book is reprinting a lot of the mistakes that people found and the things that they were given no prizes for. So it was kind of interesting, but like I said, some of them are extremely nitpicky. So I thought this was cool. I knew about the No Prize, but I didn't know about this book, and it was one that I definitely wanted to check out. And I like it. I like that it's set up like an encyclopedia of mistakes. I think that's kind of cool. So Marvel Comics No Prize book number 1. So this next one is not a number 1. It's the only one in this first set that's not a number 1, and it is, I don't know. So this is Action Comics number 469, and Superman is being ridden by some kind of super cowboy. So I've been told that the cowboy character's name is Terra, and he's telling Superman, "Doggone it, if you ain't the most rambunctious bronc I ever rode, Superman, but I aim to break you. Yahoo!" And then the way, you know, the way that Superman is kind of bucking there and has the bridle in his mouth, this whole thing rubs me the wrong way. No, I don't want to say rubs. Do I want to say rubs? No, I don't want to say rubs. So there is a lot about this cover that I'm a little uncomfortable with, but that is definitely weird enough to pick up, and as a Superman collector was absolutely a must get. So the last book in this set is Forceworks #1. If you know what this cover is, you know. I actually found 2 copies of this and gave one to Eric from SideQuest Comics, because this is just the dangest thing you've ever seen. Forceworks is a terrible 90s like revamp or rebranding of West Coast Avengers, I think. It's very 90s and extreme and dark and gritty. But what this comic book is known for is being the first comic with a legit pop-up cover. Before this, you'd had die cuts and things, and there was a Sergio Aragonés book that had a cover that when you opened it up, it had like another flap to it that gave it dimensionality, but it wasn't the same as this. So this one has not been opened yet. I'm going to go to the one from my personal collection because of course I have this. And I'm going to show you, the most nerve-wracking part of this is that you have to, so here's the cover, you have to peel this bottom section up and you're gonna tear some of it. There's just no way not to, the way that it's glued. So I've got it like this. So here is the cover, and then when you lay it this way and open it up, look at that, look at it. It's insane. This is huge. So yeah, this thing is just stupid. And I may have to get like a better insert shot of this or something, but again, so you have background, if we can see it, of all of the heroes and they're fighting a bunch of guys. And then the 3D part of this is, that's Wonder Man. There he is. That's Wonder Man, terrible 90s Wonder Man. But this is him from the front, and if you spin it around, there's his back. They've done this in 3 dimensions. So there was so much effort put into this, and it's so dumb. I love this. So seeing another one of these, I had to get it, you know, at $1 each. So yeah, that's something that's probably gonna end up in a giveaway. How dumb is this? How cool is this? I freaking love it. The next set of books are books that I picked up because they fit a part of my collection where I'm either putting a run together or, you know, it fits a theme of some kind. And up first, I've got 2 Indiana Jones books, and these are not for me, these are for my son. So I've got Raiders of the Lost Ark, issue #3, and we also have The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, and that's issue #2. Over last summer, this summer, we've watched a lot of the Indiana Jones movies. He played the video game and played all the way through it, I think 2 or 3 times. So he became a big fan of the character, and when I saw these cheap, I picked them up for him. So this was pretty cool. I keep getting closer to completing my run of first issue special, especially thanks to Rich at Big Nasty Comics for giving me that copy of Lady Cop. But I got issues number 10 and 11. Now issue 11 really makes me laugh. We've got, this one's Codename Assassin. So each issue of this series focused on a different character, and a lot of those characters ended up being one-ofs that never went anywhere. This cover is really funny to me, the way the guy's like staring in the wrong direction and saying, "We're safe. That assassin guy would have to walk on water to get to us now." Well, I got bad news for that guy. And then I also picked up issue number 10 of first issue special, The Outsiders. The 70s DC anthology horror books just keep finding their ways into my collection, and this is no exception. This is Ghosts issue number 63. This cover is fantastic. The bride and then the skeleton reflection in the mirror. It does have like some really significant schmutz on it. Like it's dirty. So I didn't know that when I bought it. I think I paid at most $1 for this, but I don't know if it can be cleaned up or not, but I still look forward to reading it, and it is a great cover. Then I picked up 2 issues of Weird War. We've got issue number 32, where we're fighting some kind of demon monster on the cover, which is awesome. Then in issue number 33, we have a skeleton soldier manning a gun as an opposing army comes up. So these are both really cool. Glad to have them. I collect Christmas covers. I collect Archie. So a couple of Archie Christmas covers is awesome. This little Archie here is, again, kind of like the other one I picked up. It's a little more stained and beat up than I really like, and I wish I would have seen it, but I mean, I'm not completely upset to have it. It is pretty good. So this is a Christmas issue, little Archie number 127. But this one is crazy. This is Archie's Christmas Love-In. So it looks very like late 60s, early 70s, the way the girls are dressed in miniskirts, the way the boys are wearing, like flared slacks and bell bottoms. I think A Love In was kind of a hippie thing, and it wasn't, necessarily what you might be thinking. I think it was more just like, let's play music and chill out, man, like, woo, peace. But yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what A Love In is, or if you'd want to have one on Christmas. I mean, I'd take one on Christmas. But anyway, so yeah, not only is this one Christmas, this one's weird, and I'm really happy to pick both of these up for my Christmas cover collection. I do not collect Gen 13, but I do collect the Max, and so I picked up Gen 13 and the Max, #1. It was a book that I saw, I'd never heard of before. In reading through it, what I kind of realized was the thing I like the most about the Max is Sam Keith's art. The art in this is just not great. It doesn't, like when I think of what the Max is, I don't think of this. This feels very 90s generic. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep this one in the collection or not, because like I said, it just wasn't something that I was into, but it is a character that I collect. And speaking of the Max, I got 3 insane copies of the Max. These things are beautiful. So this is issue number 19. Now, these are in Mylars. From what I can tell, I don't think they've been opened or read. It seems like they were taken and put right in these. So in this one, to give you a sense of scale, that's the Max right there. He's running from this giant animal with a flower for a head. I don't know. The Max is a very surreal and weird book that deals with superheroes, trauma, mental health, and perception of reality. So this cover is wild. Also got number 25. Number 25 has this kind of like abstract painting of the Max's face, and I think this one is really cool as well. Also just in pristine and unreal condition. And then the last one, this is issue 26. This is, I don't know if my camera, if video can do it justice, this is like the blackest black cover I've ever seen. So this one doesn't have a scratch or a tick or anything on it. It is beautiful. How a book survived this long completely, in my opinion, completely untouched, I have no idea. I think it's really cool. So all 3 of these issues, I can't remember what they had them listed at, but the guy took $20, and $20 is more than a fair price for 3 issues of the Max that is this late in the run, but for books that are in this condition is like unreal. So I really feel like I made out like a bandit, and got my Max collection, my Max run just a little bit more closer to complete. For this next section, these are books where I was like, hey, I've always wanted to collect that run, so why don't I go ahead and pick most of it up? The first one I'm going to talk about is The Question, written by Denny O'Neil, art by Dennis Cowan and Bill Sienkiewicz, also covers by Dennis Cowan and Bill Sienkiewicz. In a book that, it's not super expensive or anything. I mean, you can find the #1 for $10, but I was able to get half of the books that I'm going to show you for, I think, $2 a piece. And then the remainder of the books I got on the last day of Heroes Con from the same vendor, where he had marked all those books down to 50 cents. So getting the #1 for $2 and a good chunk of the run and putting this whole thing together was awesome. So instead of me like holding up and showing you 20 covers, we're just going to do this in a montage. want to point out that issue 12 is special. It is the first appearance of a character that many of you know, Mr. Stephen Gettner. This is his first comic book appearance. Stephen, Steppo, Collecto-6, he as a fan wrote a letter to The Question and it was published. So this has his first published letter in a comic book. And I think that is really cool. So not only did I add a great run to my collection, I've got something that, you know, a friend of mine contributed to. So it's really cool. I love this. All right, the next series that I got most of and that we're gonna montage through is Moonshadow. Moonshadow is published by Marvel under their Epic imprint, which is their creator-owned. So J.M. DeMatteis and John J. Muth. J.M. DeMatteis is the writer, John J. Muth is the artist, the painter of the series. The covers are beautifully painted and so are the interiors. This is written, or they advertise this as a fairy tale for adults. So this is from, I want to say the 1980s. Yeah, 1986. And it's pretty dark and bittersweet, but it's really good. And I've only ever read it in a trade that I got at the library, and so I was really excited to come across these issues. And like I said, I mean, I think a montage is the right way to do these covers because they're gorgeous. So yeah, that's Moonshadow. I think I only am missing 2 issues to have the complete run, and like I said, I've read it before, but I was really excited to get this because this was a book I had never seen, at least from Epic Publishing, and the covers are just so much better than the other ones, just absolutely gorgeous. And the last chunk of this short box is just kind of like books I wanted, and I don't really necessarily have a category for them, but I want to show them to you. So I got the Image First reprint of Saga #1. This is a book I love, but I actually buy the oversized hardcovers because I find that it's better to read, you know, in big chunks rather than floppies. But you know, I think this was 50 cents. You know, I know it's not the real #1, but I just couldn't pass it up. You know, I mean, for what it was, I just wanted to have this one. You can never have enough Amethyst of Gem World #1s. I'm not sure how many this will make it for me in the collection, but you know, it's one of those books that I do like to pass around and give to friends. So I picked it up. I've got the full maxi series. I've got the second series. I've got the mini series. I've even got the one that they did more recently. So yeah, I've got a lot of princesses in my collection. Huge upgrade for me, 30 years in the making. So one of the first like comic collections I ever bought was the Wally West run of The Flash off of a friend. I think I bought like 1 through 40. And when I bought it, you know, I didn't check it very well and I learned a very valuable lesson. So my copy of #1 has a huge tear and tape on the cover. And over all these years, I've just never really wanted to pay money to upgrade it. I see it for 10 bucks, 20 bucks, and I'm just like, you know, I've got it, it's okay. But I found this on the last day for $2. So for $2 to upgrade my Wally West #1, you know, no question. So finally got a copy that doesn't have a big tear on it. The next 2 are Judge Dredd titles, or this one is at least in the universe. So this is 2000 AD monthly #1. There are 4 issues in this run. What I do like about this is it doesn't just print Judge Dredd stories, like the first story is Judge Anderson and Judge Death. It reprints other stories from 2000 AD that a lot of those I haven't read. We're more familiar over here in America with Judge Dredd, but the other characters that have stories in 2000 AD don't get as much attention over here. So this was kind of cool that it's a 2000 AD anthology like the magazine is. It's not just Judge Dredd. So this is really cool. Whenever I see an Eagle Comics Judge Dredd, I definitely pick it up, and I got issue #2, I think for $5. Maybe even under $5. So the #1 has still eluded me. It can be a little pricier than I usually want to pay when I see it in a bin or something, but this is a Brian Boland cover. It is super cool, and I'm glad to add this one to my collection. I've been on kind of a weird sword and sorcery kick ever since I started collecting Warlord from DC Comics. I started picking up a lot of like the satellite books when I see them, or you know, I've even started dipping my toe into reading Conan. So these were just a couple books that are in that genre that I picked up. So I got Arak, Son of Thunder #3. This is a spin-off from Warlord, and his run actually went kind of long too. So yeah, I know I have #1 of this and now #3 and then like several in the middle somewhere. So just another like sword and sorcery book from DC. While I knew who Arak was, I have no idea who Iron Wolf is. So this is Weird Worlds Presents #9, And this is a character called Iron Wolf, so it's just another DC sword and sorcery book, but this one is a complete mystery to me, and I'm pretty sure, again, like this came out of that 50-cent bin, and I'm totally willing to take a gamble on a book for 50 cents or $1. But the last one that I got that's swords and sorcery is definitely the best one. This is Creatures on the Loose from Marvel, number 29. This is sadly the last appearance, the final appearance of Thongor. And it even says on here, like right here, is this Thongor's final battle? It is. There was no more Thongor after this. So much like Herco and so many of those other characters that we love, we need Thongor back. So I have Creatures on the Loose. I think it's 23 is Thongor's first appearance, and then 29, sadly, his last. So it's time to find the rest and put the whole saga together. Now this one I bought because I'd never heard of it. This was Reverend Lovejoy's Hellfire Comics #1. I love the Bongo comics, the Simpsons comics, especially the ones that they do that feature characters that you don't normally see. Comic Book Guy, you know, Ralph got a special, Milhouse got a special, Lisa, Maggie, I've got most of those. This one I had never heard of. And so I got it, I was trying to scan it into my app, and just let me show you. Now this is actually the back of the comic because this is a flip book. So the front is Simpsons Comics number 23. If I had seen this in the bin, I probably wouldn't have picked it up because I have most of these as trades. I don't really get a lot of the Simpsons books unless they have a really cool cover or it's a great deal and a low number because they can be pricey. But this one really caught my eye because I thought it was something special. So long story short, I'm not storing this as Simpsons Comics number 23. I'm putting it in the bag this way. And you actually can, it is a flip book. It's short, but there is a comic here, improved by Bart Simpson, that we have. So I'm gonna pretend like this is real. No way I ever put the full run of the Marvel 25th anniversary covers together, but I couldn't pass this one up. This is the Transformers from that month or whatever it was when they did this 25th anniversary border and all of their comics, and of course there are several that are really expensive. This one I honestly have not seen out in the wild, I don't think at all, and it was on a wall, $15. I was looking at it and the vendor said, I'll take 10. And I was like, I've got $10. So I used to have $10, now I have this. I can't stop buying stupid promo books, so this is The Science Fair Story of Electronics, the amazing invention that changed the world. And this was put out by Radio Shack. I actually have another one that's similar, but it is different, and it's another Radio Shack Presents. So much like the Tandy Kids teaming up with superheroes, I can't stop buying any of this Radio Shack stuff. It really is stupid, but like when you read through it on the inside, they really are being informative and it's sincere. So I don't know, it's kitsch, it's weird, I dig it. Then I just found some great indie books. So I've got Self-Loathing Comics here by R. Crumb. Just an incredible cover. I really enjoy his artwork. I think he is, he's just such an important creator from the underground and the independent comic book world. So, you know, I know I haven't read a ton of what he's written, but where I find it collected, I have picked it up, and this was so cheap, like $1, and I was more than happy to pick it up because I just find the intricacy of the way that he draws so interesting. I'm really excited to have this. This is a Pacific Comics Presents The Wildly Plausible Plight of Erie Smith and Walter Weary. I can't say that 4 times fast. I don't know what this is. This is weird, and it's weird enough by itself, seeing these two characters, one looking like, you know, a scientist and the other maybe a janitor or something, and they're gonna go through the multiverse. That's weird, but the reason I got it was there's a Steve Ditko backup story called The Missing Man in Vanity. So Steve Ditko, you know, creator of the Spider-Man costume and former Marvel artist, he drew and wrote comics well into his later years, where he would put in his philosophies and things, and they got odd. So whenever I find something that he did, especially later in his career, I like to check it out because I don't know, again, like I find odd things interesting, and it's very interesting. So Dan Clowes is an incredible creator. Again, another like powerhouse of independent and underground comics. And this one, it's not in great shape. It's got some staining on it, but you know, again, like all these books, like for $1, come on, I'm not gonna pass that up. I really do like these little insert boxes where we've got the Wild Knight at Tiger Town and Crawl Worm and the Queen of Venus, whatever that is. And this guy peeking out of the side, you know, I mean, he's not disturbing at all either. Did I do it? Did I do it? Am I doing it? How creepy is this? Is this working? Look at me, I'm half a comic man. So yeah, never heard of this one before, but very excited to check it out. I found 3 issues of the Flaming Carrot. So the first 2 are pretty old. So this is issue number 11, and this one and the next one are both published by Renegade Press. So Renegade Press is, I'm not sure who ran that, if that was Bob Burden, like independently, and then they got picked up by, I think, Kitchen Sink and or Dark Horse. There was a second series at Image, but this is the early days of the Flaming Carrot. So this is issue number 11. Also got issue number 13. Issue number 13 is way more beat up. Like, I think it's wavy, there's some water damage, but it's the better cover where the carrots on the cover saying, "It's called a yo-yo. They were big when I was a youth. I was a champ." And I love that the girls are actually kind of impressed by his yo-yo skills, which makes me think maybe I need to break my yo-yo out. And then I also got issue number 21 of the Flaming Carrot, and this is one that, again, like I was really surprised I didn't have, and I found all 3 of these for like $1 or $2 a piece. It really depends on what day I found them and what booth, but I know I didn't pay much, and I was really excited to get it. There's a guy next to me who picked up, there was a whole like chunk, and he got several more, but most of the ones that he chose were the ones I already had. So it was really cool not just to get these and help my run get more complete, but to see that there was another fan of it. Like there was someone else who was just as excited as I was to find some cheap issues of a book that you normally don't find cheap. All right, we're on to the last 2 books that I picked up. The first one is The Cross and the Switchblade. Now, I thought this was a Spire Christian book, and it is a Spire Christian book, but this is not a Spire Christian copy. So Spire Christian books are almost always 39 cents unless they're reprinted, which is an odd price, but it is what it is. This book here is 59 cents, and if you look on this side where it would say Spire Christian, it says New Barber Christian. So the Spire Christian books were put out, they promoted Christianity, they had kids books, they even had Archie, like licensed books that were in the line. I collect them for the kitsch value, you know, they're just kind of a comic book oddity. So I didn't know that there was a Barber Christian second printing run. Like, is that where I'm gonna go next after I get all of the Spire Christians? I'm gonna have to start collecting these Barber Christians? I'm gonna say probably not, because the Spire Christian copy of this is kind of expensive. It's one of the more well-known ones. That's why I was surprised to find it cheaply, like I did. The dialogue on this cover is exceptional. "I could kill you, Preach. Yes, you could, Nikki. You could cut me into 1,000 pieces, and every piece would say, 'I love you.'" I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, I think it's a turning the other cheek thing, but it's oddly stated, and it's fantastic. I was excited when I found it. Even when I found out it wasn't a Spire Christian, who cares? This is cool. And so this is the last book. This is number 73, and this is the one that I think is the coolest of this set, sort of, maybe. I don't know, it's the weirdest, okay? It's great. It's Marvel Team Up number 137. It's where Aunt May becomes the Herald of Galactus, and she teams up with Franklin Richards. So this happened. This is from Assistant Editors Month, which every Assistant Editors Month book I've ever read from Marvel has not been good. This one was a ton of fun. Like this one, it just treated it the way it needed to be treated so that you could enjoy it. It had a terrible, like, everybody has their memory wiped at the end kind of trope, but what else are you gonna do? They had Aunt May as the Herald of Galactus, for God's sake. They called her, so, you know, the Herald of Galactus, the Silver Surfer, she was the Golden Oldie. The Golden Oldie. And then what made it even better was that Franklin Richards, he's, a super genius like his father, Reed Richards, and he came up with the way to defeat Galactus, which was to entice him with cream-filled sponge cakes, like Twinkies. So, like those old ads where they would show the superheroes defeating the villains by distracting them with Twinkies or ding-dongs or fruit pies or whatever, that's what they do to Galactus, and that's the plot of the book. I thought it was so dumb. I absolutely loved this. I had actually heard of this book before, but I had never seen it. And so this one I know I paid $5 for, and I was happy to do it. So if you've never read this, I do recommend it. It's so dumb. Like, it's just one of those things that you can't believe they did it, and they did, and no one ever talked about it again. Like, at the end, everyone just loses their memory, and it's like, so that is it. That is the rest of the books that I purchased at HeroesCon this year. So please leave me a comment below. Let me know, what did you think? Which book was your favorite that I picked up? Which book did you think was absolutely stupid? Because I know there's more than a few of those in there as well. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of this one. Please give the video a like and consider subscribing. And either way, I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, get them. I'll give those to the squad. Okay.
Now me, I picked up the Hug-a-Bunch. So the next two books and the last book, no, that's not right. Whew. Now make sure you stick around.